Shalom Aleichem. Okay, so this week's Parsha, the Haftarah is taken from 2 Kings, the 4th chapter of 2 Kings. It's a story about a woman who is a widow of one of the disciples of the Nevi'im. So basically, during these times, there was persecution on all the Nevi'im, on the prophets, and so there were disciples that lived in the area that would help hide the Nevi'im. They would feed them, and they would keep them protected from from the government. So the Haftarah is taken. There's a story. It says Isha achas minashei v'nei Nevi'im. There's one woman in particular who comes to Elisha. It says she says to Elisha, Avdecha ishi meis. Your servant, my husband, has died. It says, V'yati yadati ki avdecha haya yireyes Hashem. You know that he was a God-fearing man. But she says, Nysha ba, and now the creditor or the landlord, Nysha ba has come, lakachas eshnei yaladai, has come to take my two children, loy la'avadim, to be slaves for him. So Elisha says, V'yomer eleha, Elisha, he says to her, Ma eselach, what can I do for you? Hagidi li, tell me, Ma yesh lach b'bayis, what do you have in your house? And she says, V'taymer, she says to him, Ein l'shivchascha kol b'bayis ki im asach shaman. I don't have anything in my house except for a single jug of oil. So he tells her, go and borrow as many empty vessels as you can. Go into your home, close the door behind you, and take that single jug of oil and pour it into all of these empty vessels, right? One after another. Have your children hand you one, you pour it, and when it's full, put it aside, go into the next one. Okay, so the Alter Rebbe explains what this means according to Chassidus, and how we can basically apply this story and the inyanim in this story to our lives and how we serve Hashem. So he says, Ve'isha achas. He says, Ve'isha achas goes on the neshama, right? And the Isha achas is the Isha is the woman or the wife, and achas is one. So the Isha, which is achas im havaya, was one with Hashem, and that's the neshama. Minashei b'nei Nevi'im, among the wives of the disciples of the prophets, it says ki Nevi'im eloshen nivs fasayim, that this section, these words, this phrase comes from the concept nivs fasayim, comes from the lips of the mouth. It says hu shemakablim bechinas dvar havayat, because the neshama receives from the word of Hashem, right? It receives the gilui of Hashem, being that it's one with Hashem. And it says he keli kibul l'kabel hasagas v'gilui l'kus. It receives the revelations of Hashem. Elisha, she says to Elisha, it says Elisha is oisios Elisha, my God saves, or is salvation. So he says Hu HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This goes on Hashem. So the neshama is screaming to Hashem. And what does it say? It says, Avdecha ishi meis. Right? Ishi, my husband, has the letters Aish, right? Aleph, Shin, and then two Yuds, because it's Aleph, Yud, Shin, Yud. So Ishi is Aish and Hashem. So the neshama is coming to Hashem and saying, my fire for Hashem is gone. And now, the Nysha, the creditor, what's the Nysha? Nysha from the word Nishani. As the pasuk says, Ki Nishani Elikim, to forget, right? So the Nysha is the Nefesh Bahamas, the animal soul which comes along and wants you to forget about Hashem, and wants you to forget about serving Hashem, has come along and wants to enslave my two children. According to Tanya, it says that the Midas Nikraim V'Shem Toldos, that the attributes of a person, the midas of a person, are referred to as children or offspring. And it says that the two main aspects of the midas are Ava and Ira. So Yoladai, the two children of the neshama in this story, is Ava and Ira, the love and fear for Hashem. So it's not enough that the neshama lost its fire and passion for Hashem. Now the Nefesh Bahamas comes along and wants to enslave the love and fear, which is supposed to be for Hashem, and wants to cause wants to cause a person to dedicate their love and fear for foreign things, for narishkeit, for shtuyot, no? So it's like, it's bad enough there's no passion, and once there's no passion, now the Nefesh Bahamas can sneak in and cause more distractions, and cause any kind of love and fear that you have for Hashem to be used for nonsense. So what does Elisha say? What does Elisha say to the woman? And Hashem, what is Hashem saying to the neshama? What do you have left? And even when the answer is nothing, I have nothing in the house except for the asuch shaman, a single jug of oil. Because at the end of the day, there's a piece of the neshama, the etzem haneshama, the pintele yid, which cannot be tainted by anything. Not sin, not nothing. So even if you have nothing, there's no passion, there's no nothing, you think that there's nothing left in you in terms of your connection to Hashem, there is always the single jug of oil. And so he says, great. So go outside, kelim in achutz means to go outside of yourself and take kelim, do these things, do mitzvahs, Torah mitzvahs, and pour into it the etzem haneshama. The etzem haneshama, the pintele yid. You pour into these everything that you're supposed to be doing, everything that you do for Hashem, even if they're empty, they have no love, no passion, no fire, no nothing, pour into it anyway, the pintele yid, the etzem haneshama, the piece of the neshama that is God himself, because that doesn't change. So it says in Tanya that how is a person able to use the pintele yid, the etzem haneshama, to be motivated to serve Hashem? It says that at the end of the day, as far as disconnected as a yid might feel, as a person might feel from Hashem, they're always willing to sacrifice themselves for Hashem. A person would never allow themselves to be completely severed from being connected to Hashem. And so if a person is aware of the fact, or just meditates on the fact that if it came down to it, they would sacrifice their life for Hashem, if they would do all of that for Hashem, then how easy could it be to just be motivated to do these mitzvahs? Do Torah mitzvahs anyway. If I'm willing to give my life up, then I can dedicate my life to serving Hashem. Just this idea of living for something worth dying for. And that's how a person uses the pintele yid and the etzem haneshama and pours it into everything they do, even if they seem to be empty.